And Shabby is back joining us for our special guest. Today we're going to be going over part 2 of exercises to bulletproof your back. So let's get started. All you're going to need is a mat if you want extra cushion for your back. All right, come over here. So the first exercise, we're going to start in this tabletop position. And we are going to be doing cat-cows. Wrists are going to be underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. In this position, I'm going to drop my belt, or I'm going to tuck my pelvis, tuck my chin, round, press through my back and shoulders as much as I can, trying to create as much as a round as possible. Once I hit that end range motion, I'm going to drop my belly, tilt my pelvis out, lift my chin, look to the sky, and I'm trying to create as much as a curvature in that lower back. That's 1 rep. You're gonna perform 10 reps, nice and controlled through that range of motion. This is gonna work the small, intricate muscles of the back, but also help you get more range of motion within the spine. Second exercise, staying in the same position. We're just gonna tuck our toes. We're going to lift our knees and we're gonna come into this elevated position that we would have almost in a bird dog, but from here we're keeping our hands planted. I'm gonna lift my one leg, extend out, and then come back to a starting position. Then I'm gonna shift my weight to the opposite side and perform the same exact exercise on the opposite side. So I'm lifting my leg, keeping my foot neutral or kind of flexed, where I'm placing my kind of entire sole of the foot on the imaginary wall behind me. As I extend my leg, I'm keeping my knee on the opposite side underneath that hip joint. So we want to make sure we're avoiding big rock side to side or forward and back. The focus here is to work on extending that one leg while keeping the shoulders and hips square to the floor. We'll also be working on the abdominals, specifically the abs and the obliques here. If at any point this is too much, you can always just lift the knees, hold for a couple seconds, and then place down. You'll perform a total of 10 reps, so 5 on each side, alternating legs. If you want a little bit more, you can do a 10 on each side, so 20 total. That's what I do into my routine. That's gonna help really focus on building the core strength as well as working on a little bit of the glute and hamstring. That's the second exercise. On the third exercise, we're gonna rotate over onto our back. And similar position to how we start with our glute bridges, but this time we're gonna lift our legs and arms. You can create a fist, and I talked about this in the previous video. Dr. Andrew Huberman talks about creating a fist, allows you to be a little more tight and tense and kind of engaged. So it's gonna allow you to have a little bit more extension or press or push if you think about it. So whether you keep your fists engaged like so or open, it's up to you. But in this position, knees are gonna start over the hips, ankles, almost in line with the knee, so almost kind of like a 45 or 90 degree angle here. So fist or palm, up to you. You're gonna chop opposite arm, opposite elbow, but before you even do so, I want you to think of tucking your pelvis and pressing your lower back into the floor. So there should be no space, or I could not slide my hand underneath my back. If I'm extended or have a curve, I would slide my hand underneath that. So really focus on tucking the pelvis, pushing your lower back into the floor. If you need to keep your head in the ground versus elevated, that's fine as well. So from here, right leg will extend, left arm will extend, and as I extend, I'm keeping them off the floor, but I'm also pressing my lower back into the ground, and then I'm gonna come back to that starting position. So we wanna extend both arm and leg, opposite side, and while I'm doing so, I'm thinking of pushing my abs or bracing my abs if someone was gonna tap my abs, but I'm also pressing my lower back into the floor. Total of 10 reps here. You wanna be alternating sides, so essentially 5 on 5, right? Again, that's where you'd wanna start. If you feel more comfortable and you're more advanced, you could do a total of 10 on each side, so 20 total, excuse me. So it'd be like 1, 1, etc. Again, you should feel relatively comfortable in that position. Should be challenging in terms of the core, right? Again, these are prehab or exercises that you want to do for preventative work, right? That's how I see it. So this bonus, this fourth exercise, we're gonna come back into that tabletop position. You're gonna have your feet and your knees about hip width distance apart. I'm gonna walk my arms forward. Your hand position may change once you find out that bottom position, but I'm gonna press my butt back, kind of like a child's pose, where we're keeping our feet parallel to one another. Head can be down, relaxed, looking up. I like to relax it forward. Arms are extended out. So in this position, this is where the arms should be. So as I come back up, my hands may finish underneath or slightly in front of my shoulders, but everyone's gonna be a little different depending on the length of their body, torso, arms. And you're just gonna perform 10 repetitions here. So this is a nice little stretch, dynamic stretch as we're pushing our butt to our heels, opening up that lower back and hips, but also allowing a little bit of range of motion to improve in our upper body and our thoracic spine. You can always walk those arms forward as you sit back. That is, again, 10 reps that you're gonna do this. Now, if you feel really good, right, after the one tire round, you're like, man, that feels great, I wanna do another round, you can do 2 rounds or even up to 3 rounds. Typically, I do some of these exercises 3 rounds. Sometimes if I'm pressed for time, I'll just do 2 rounds, but find what works best for you. If this was helpful, beneficial, informative in any form and fashion, please share with others. If you are dealing with any back tightness or back issues, these are something that I incorporate into my routine, so I'm just sharing what has worked for me. Highly recommend you add into your routine, see how you feel. Obviously, you know your body best, so meet yourself where you're at. Don't be afraid to modify and change anything. And if there's any questions, drop me a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, like tutorials and prehab work, please feel free to let me know and I'll share more. Thanks so much for tuning in.